Okay, we're at our iron now. We're going to iron all the samples from this week. We're going to start here with the tucks, and we're going to take our iron and press these all in one direction, just like what we see on a tuxedo shirt. You're going to want all those to come over to one direction. And because it's kind of like an accordion, it's probably best just to hold a little tension on the far seam from your iron and push that over. There you go. And if you keep even tension all the way down, it should prevent it from being kind of wavy after you're done pressing here. So hopefully they'll stay in a pretty straight direction. So get that nice and pressed, put some good steam on it, get a good held in position. And then once you're done there, probably be best to run a base stitch across the bottom and across the top here, just to hold everything into position like we like to keep as we construct the other garments, or the rest of the garment. The next one we're going to do here is our facing. So we have our garment here facing on the other side. It had the under stitch. You want to make sure that facing is completely to the wrong side, and the natural fold should happen from the garment rolling over to the facing. I showed that as we were stitching it, but should just have about a 1/16 of an inch of the garment rolling over to the wrong side, and that keeps that facing from peeking out the front. If you look real close, you might be able to see the difference between where the under stitch is, the actual stitch that's holding the seam together, and then where the garment rolls over. But really clean, nice from the right side. Alright, next we have our 3 waistbands. Our first one is our top stitched here. Just give that a nice press to get it nice and flat. And then take a look at the top stitching, just so that you can see a little bit across the whole waistband from one edge to the other on the back side. Make sure that you're catching on both edges of the fabric there, the little waistband flap. The next one is the stitch in the ditch. Same thing, just go ahead and give it a final press. This one you should be able to see that on mine you can kind of see a little black line that's in the ditch there. Almost shows like a little shadow. But again, make sure it does catch the waistband opening on the back to adhere that and make it closed up. And then the last one is the slip in the stitch. You know, the slip in the stitch is kind of the highest end waistband you can do. You see nothing on the right side. Once we're done here, you can kind of look and see that there's no stitching peeking through. All the stitching that you see here, the one that is attaching the waistband to the garment, and then the other is just my hand slip stitch kind of tucked up under there. Alright, make sure you always grab that little seam allowance when you're doing the hand stitch, but nothing out front. Should not be going through all the layers of the seam allowance, just through those top layers. The last one we have here is our gather and our narrow hem. So there's the narrow hem. And you don't want to press the ruffle part. It looks really nice the way it is. I'm super happy with the amount of gather that is. But we want that seam to be pushed up towards the garment. So you're going to bring your iron in from the garment side and then use just the tip of the iron with a little tension against that ruffle and just kind of press along that edge, just slightly helping that seam to remain up towards the garment and the ruffle in the down position. Helps the ruffle hang pretty nice. Yeah, super happy with how that turned out. Oops, sorry, camera got a little, there we go. A little more in view. Alright, so really not pressing the ruffle, just pressing the edge of that seam. And you want the ruffle just to be kind of hanging down nicely. Alright, looks good.